Meghan McCain is not pleased with the fact that House GOP lawmakers are planning to oust Liz Cheney from her leadership role because of the fact that she criticizes Donald Trump and also refuses to just regurgitate these lies about the 2020 election allegedly being rigged. And so her rant here is fascinating. I want you to focus though on how quickly she makes it about her. Watch.
Well, let's cut the crap. He wasn't caught on a hot mic. I think anyone in politics knows that that was done intentionally. What's happening is it's very clear, and I'm gonna be a little crass, they're shivving her for her going on television multiple times and saying that the election wasn't stolen and for refusing to debase herself to Cheeto Jesus. I don't understand what's going on. I have spent the past 5 years of my life trying to accept, understand, and include the MAGA base of this party. And the message that's being sent by the highest member of Republicans in Congress is that women like me and Liz Cheney, who refuse to bend the knee to President Trump, but still remain loyal Republicans, we don't have a place in this party. We are worthless. We are not worth fighting for to keep. And the leadership in the party is doubling down that Trump is the future. Now, what happened when we doubled down that Trump is the future? We lost 4, count them, 4 Senate seats in the last election in red states.
So, I mean, it's interesting because I do agree with how wrong it is to have Liz Cheney face backlash for like telling the truth for once in her life, right? Like I have no love for Liz Cheney. Giant, war hawk, like loves to invade countries. I mean, created this right-wing think tank with Bill Kristol with the sole intent of manufacturing consent for wars abroad. So no love for Liz Cheney. However, the fact that people in the Republican Party, lawmakers in the Republican Party, don't get ousted for allegedly covering up sexual abuse. In the case of Jim Jordan and the wrestlers who came to him about sexual assault and rape, like that's not worth punishing them for. But speaking the truth, and it's counter to obviously what Donald Trump wants the narrative to be, that deserves the backlash.
Yeah, they're not mad at Matt Gaetz right now.
Right.
Despite all the QAnon furor and all that, they're mad at her. Agreed, no love lost for her. Just such a weird expression. Yeah, no, she's awful and she should have been canceled for a long time, but this is the thing that the Republican cancel culture machine has spooled up for. She must be destroyed, removed from society, fully and utterly canceled because she's saying things that are not politically correct from their point of view. That's what it is. Meghan McCain there is like 95% right in most of what she said. The funny thing with her though is that even when she's like almost totally right, there is that I'm the princess of Arizona sort of thing, because what she said there was, I've spent the last 5 years, and most of what she continues that sentence is fine, trying to understand, accept, and then she said, and include the MAGA base. Oh, I'm sure they very much appreciate that, of you trying to include them in the party that wants nothing to do with you. Like she's the bouncer on the club. Like, no, they're not trying. You want to have some influence, and you don't really because your party has moved. Like you're in cuckoo land, they're in beyond cuckoo land. That's sad. I hope that the Democratic Party never gets that insane that I feel as out of it as she does with the Republican Party. But that is the truth. They don't need your acceptance. You need to accept what has happened to them. This is really a problem of you because they're not coming back anytime soon.
But what does that mean for us? Because that's what I think naturally that's where our head should be at. Because if traditional Republicans who we clearly do not have love for, we do not agree with politically, people like Liz Cheney, if they get rejected by this Trump-centered Republican Party that refuses to ever counter him, ever hold him accountable. Where does Liz Cheney go? Where does Meghan McCain go? Where do these people go?
Well, Meghan McCain will probably stay there for a long time on The View because I have a feeling The View doesn't want to have like Candace Owens or Tomi Lahren or whatever.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about The View. I'm talking about Republican voters like her politically. Where do they go and where do they vote?
I mean, I think that So what percentage of the population will they still have is an interesting question. I would say, I think maybe a more interesting one though is what percentage of the population will they need after they get done doing to the electoral system what they're currently doing? Because they should be horrified of how unpopular their positions are, or more importantly, how few positions they have for people to agree or disagree with. And I think that they get that under sort of normal ways of analyzing the likelihood the party is going to win, the Republican Party future doesn't look particularly good right now. But they're not adapting by trying to broaden their appeal. They're just trying to drive as many people out of having the ability to vote as possible. And so I think the question really is for the Democratic Party, will you overcome that? They have one big way to do that. That is HR 1. And right now, it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to pass it.
No, because...
And so why would the Republican Party have to become sane once again? They're going to be able to win in a lot of states, maybe not nationally, but maybe, and they're gonna be able to win because the Democratic Party is going to allow the craziest people in the country to determine whether people get to vote or not.
You know, I saw that you tweeted about this story and I talked about it in the first hour of the show today. The DNC had already begun digging up opposition research on dozens of potential Republican presidential candidates for 2024. And you know, the reason why I bring it up is because the argument that I made is that it would be far more effective if they did opposition research on corporate conservative Democrats in the Senate, like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, to basically show them who's boss, to actually get the important policies we need passed. Whether it's HR 1, which is incredibly important, and Joe Manchin has already served as an obstacle to that. He said that he doesn't even agree with the legislation, which blows my mind. Okay, so there's that. But rather than focusing on opposition research, which I don't think is going to be effective in this political environment. I mean, you don't even need to do research. Like these Republican candidates say and do awful things out in the open already.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to find a way using sticks to get the infrastructure bill passed, to get the American Families Plan passed, to get HR 1 passed? And really all you need to do in the Senate is reform the filibuster. I know it's easier said than done, but if Joe Manchin knows that they're digging up dirt on him and they're ready to fight, same with Mark Warner. I pick on Joe Manchin a lot because he's the one who feels the need to be the most vocal in how much of a pain in the ass he wants to be. But there are other corporate Democrats that they could do this with. The question is, do they want to and would they? But I would say that if they pass these policies, it really does hurt the Republican Party because what's the Republican Party offering to their voters, really? Other than
Mr. Potato Head? Mr.
Potato Head, culture war nonsense, you know, the same crap that doesn't actually improve anyone's lives, including their own constituents.
Yeah, they feel the need to do this because they want to get out in front of the election, and it's what you do. You search for dirt. And maybe if you were to sit down the members of this team, there's like 25 people or something like that, they're gonna be working for the next 2 years. That sounds like a fun job. If you sat them down, even they might admit that they have no reason to believe that what they find is going to matter. I mean, what are they gonna find? That an up and coming Republican star is trafficking kids? Everybody knows that they don't care. That Ron DeSantis was perfectly happy to have tons of people die in Florida for no reason. No, we already know that, that's clear. That Ted Cruz is a possum-faced weenie, we already know that. He knows that, his wife knows that. So revealing this stuff isn't interesting, but they feel the need to do it. But why? Because presumably they're afraid of Republicans getting in and stopping the Democratic agenda. But as Anna's pointing out, that's not the thing that's stopping the Democratic agenda right now.
Right.
Joe Manchin, Warner, a few others, Sinema, they're what's stopping it. So is it actually about the agenda, or is it just it's our job to win? It's our job to win and then do nothing, or maybe something, we don't really care. Politics isn't really about outcomes, it's really just about winning the game. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It is frustrating though. I guess it's a few people, they're gonna do what they have to do. And look, maybe the country will change and maybe Trump was special and I don't know, Marjorie Greene is special and Matt Gaetz is special. And they're the only ones that can do whatever they want and say whatever they want and it doesn't matter. Maybe for Hawley it will, or for Noem, or for Haley it will. I don't know, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think the Republican base is going to suddenly become more reasonable between now and 2024.
No, I don't either, which is why the focus on Oppo research is a curious focus, and I don't think that it'll pay the dividends that the Biden campaign is hoping for.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.